Hi, I'm Richard Scinta. That's my answer to that question. Got to be ready all the time. Hi, I'm Richard Scinta. I am the Vice President for Club and Association Governance for Wyndham Destinations. Wyndham Destinations is the largest timeshare company in the world, and it's a great company. I'm glad to be with them, and have been in that role in this particular role for about 8 years, and was a general manager before that of the Wyndham Bonnet Creek Resort, which is right at the gates of Walt Disney World. Currently, I am the Vice President of Administration for Skal USA, which is really a privilege to be. And I have just been reelected, although I had no opponents for the 2021 year in the same role as well. So I joined Skal in 2009, and it was funny. One of my vendors, who I got to be friends with, said, "You need to join this organization." I knew nothing of Skal, and in Orlando, and I joined Skal, and quickly found that it was an organization that I wanted to be a part of. And I had a lot of friends in Skal, and friends have come and gone as they leave the area. But I mean, we still have a lot of good friendships in Skal, and now even further, not just in Orlando Skal, but in the U.S. as well. I think the VP of Administration, in its basic sense, is to keep the USA EC organized, on schedule, in touch with the membership, ensuring that we're that we're adhering to the bylaws, etc. And I really enjoy that. I like the organization piece of that. And I really think the second year, I hope to do a better job than the first year. I mean, I think there's a lot of learnings when it's your first year, especially in that role, where it's a lot of technical. I really hope to do a better job. I think, really though, when it gets down to it, all of our jobs is membership and strengthening our membership of Skal. And not just Skal USA, but Skal in general. We have a membership VP and directors at Skal USA, but it's every job of every club, of every member of every club, to who believe in the organization, to keep bringing in quality members. So I would say, yes, my job as administration is not directly membership, but it's really the most important thing that any of us can do. In addition, setting our Skal USA organization up for the future with succession planning is also very important. I've talked to a few people who are going to come on to the Skal USA board, maybe not next year, maybe the year after or whatever. And I think that's really important, that we build strength for years to come. Right now, we have a couple of great new EC members who are joining our team this year. Mark Ergang from our Long Island club, and Pam Davis from Hawaii. And as I said, we've got some other great ones in the hopper. So look for that to come in the next year and the year after that. So that's a big part of my job. Describing Skal in one word is easy: friendship. Amical. It's what we're all about. Well, I'm certainly proud of the Skal USA EC team this year through the pandemic. We've really, I think, we've gotten great feedback, and hopefully people feel the same way. We've gotten really good feedback on keeping in touch with our owners through this whole thing. I mean, it's very difficult. We didn't really meet in person. We met in person in New Orleans as a team in January, but we haven't met since then. We've held webinars. We've had industry speakers. We received great feedback on the industry speakers. And then this year as well, we partnered with Anthony Mercuri, who's an old friend of mine we worked together in New York. And we started the Hospitality Strong fundraising drive for those hospitality employees that have been laid off or furloughed due to the pandemic. And we've been able to help some people. We'd like to help more. We'd like to get more donations. We aren't going to stop that fund anytime soon, so we feel everybody's back on their feet. So I'm very proud that we've been able to do that, and that we've kept things together this year. My best memory is my first NAS Congress, which was in Riviera Maya, Cancun, Mexico. I was a Skal USA rep for Skal Orlando. It was my first NASC, and I met a lot of great people. I mean, international, Canada. I thought it was the camaraderie was amazing. I think that most Skal members don't attend NAS. I think it's a loss when you don't, especially if you're a good Skal member, because the NAS Congress is just it's just a great event. And as I said, the camaraderie and learning from different people and how they do things in their Skal clubs, no matter where they are, is just important to know, and really was a great experience for me. I think it's easy for me to say it's an opportunity because I'm still employed, luckily, and I thank God every day that for that. But there are so many people that are hurting right now, so I think it's both a challenge and an opportunity. I mean, like I said, this business has been between the restaurant business and the hotel business has been it's been really decimated with closures and the travel, etc. So it's a challenge for sure for a lot of people. At the end of the day, I think after things are back to somewhat normalcy, I think for strong leaders, this may be a huge opportunity to change the way they look at themselves and the overall business model. When we went from driving 100 miles an hour because we were so busy before the pandemic hit, everybody knows that the occupancy was high, restaurants were busy, the average rate was high, and then going to zero. It appears even to getting back above the speed limit is going to take some time, but I'm looking forward to that day when we can look back on this as a distant memory like we do other historic events. And I think like many events like this, that change of the way we do things is going to have a long-lasting impact, and we'll find it as an opportunity in the long run. But I think for sure right now there are some challenges out there. You just have to hang in there right now. Stay close to your friends. I mean, this is when Skal and your friends are just so beneficial, and you can't quit. You just got to hang in there, and you got to, this is just a tough time. It requires persistence. It requires faith. You can't give up. You have to rely on like I said, on all the people all your contacts to help you. I love Skal and that we have so many people that want to help. And I don't think we don't want to ask for help, and it's very tough. But ask for help. It's okay. I mean, everybody's going through this right now in one way or another. So I think this will pass, and when it does, we have to be positioned, each one of us, to regain our strength as individuals and team members as well on the many teams that we're a part of. So to me, the theme is just hang in there, be persistent. Things are going to get better, and you have to think that every day. I can tell you in timeshare, we've had to ensure our owners are taking safety precautions when they arrive at the resort, and we have to provide a perfectly clean and safe environment for them and their family as well. This is how it causes we had to look at check-in times, cleaning costs for our owners that owners ultimately pay in timeshare for the cleaning. So we've had to look at that. We did have some savings due to closures to the associations. So we're seeing a benefit in owner costs for 2021 in many cases. We're also able to increase our reserve balances. So that's been one little benefit, is now that we had some savings from closures, we're able to put money back into the reserve accounts of our associations so that they can complete renovations in years to come. And that has been one, small benefit. There are little silver linings here and there. The other thing is, Airbnb and the like, I think was a big and still is a big competitor for the timeshare industry. But right now, I think the reliability of a brand, like a Wyndham, like Marriott, Disney, etc. The reliability of a brand and high consistent standards, and you know what you're going to get, and you know you're going to have cleanliness. I think that's really, in the long run, going to help or in the short term, probably for a while, going to really help our business model in timeshare. My mantra is just, every day be there. I mean, I think Woody Allen said 90% of success is just showing up. And so you just need to show up in your life every day. And to me, that's what it's all about. And, one thing, and then the other side of it is, as I mentioned, is friendship as well. And, we say amical, right? So it's just so important, that piece that we rely on our friends and that we don't quit, we don't give up. The last destination I visited before COVID was actually California. I had taken my family. It was March, and we were on spring break, and we were thinking, do we do this? We had the reservations. We checked. We wanted to go to the San Diego Zoo. It was one of the things we wanted to do. We wanted to golf, etc. And it was in March, and we decided to do it anyway. So we got to San Diego. Luckily, we got to the zoo the day before it closed, I think. We got to a restaurant in San Diego the day before they weren't serving any longer. It was actually a great trip. We did leave one day earlier as things were closing down. I wanted to make sure I could get back home. So we did come back. But we have great memories from that trip. We were in San Diego. We went up to Los Angeles, and then back down to San Diego. And my son works for Lowe's, stayed at the Lowe's in San Diego on the last night on Coronado Island, and just had a great time, even though, who knew what was about to hit us? I mean, we kind of knew things were closing down, but I'm glad we got that in. I'm glad we got that trip in, that's for sure. My next destination that I'd like to travel, and we're talking right now about going to Phoenix area, Scottsdale in March, depending on what happens. I mean, I really don't know. I mean, it's something we'd like to do. My sons and my wife haven't been to Scottsdale. I go there a lot. So every places I go where I go for work, I like to take them sometimes to show them around, especially the Scottsdale, Phoenix area. I know it pretty well because I'm there 2 or 3 times a year for my job. So looking forward to that, and maybe playing a little golf in Arizona as well. My favorite travel childhood memory was when we were young. We did a lot of road trips. I mean, we didn't get on a plane. We my dad, didn't make a lot of money, but we had great little road trips. We drove. I'm from Buffalo, New York, or outside of Buffalo, called Lockport, and we used to travel in different places in New York State or Canada, etc. And just it's not like today's kids that have a phone that they can look at any kind of entertainment they want on that phone or play games or whatever. We had a hump in the middle of the car, and if you got the hump in the middle, it wasn't a good thing, and you had fought over who was in the middle and who was on the window, and you looked at license plates of cars, and you came up with all these different games that you did, and those are memories that I'll always have. And we one time went to a place called Storytown, USA, which is in Lake George, New York, and that's not there anymore. But just that kind of thing, that kind of road trip, will always be in something that I'll hold fondly in my memory. The most interesting person I ever met on a plane, and maybe not interesting, but I'll tell you, it's an interesting story. I had to travel for work to Bangkok, Thailand, and I was in Vietnam. I was in Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. So I had to fly to Hanoi, back to Bangkok to catch my flight back to the US. So I spent a couple hours. I had to fly from Hanoi to Bangkok, went to a hotel for a few hours to sleep and change, got in a plane, flew to Tokyo from Bangkok, and I got stuck in Tokyo. It was like a 6 or 7 hour, my flight didn't come in, whatever. So I get on my flight in Tokyo, finally, fly to Los Angeles, which is like a 12-hour flight. I get to Los Angeles. They said, Mr. Scinta, unfortunately, you missed your flight to Orlando. We have nothing to go to Orlando today. So you need to go to Memphis. So I had already been traveling, I don't know, 20 something, 24 hours or more. And I get on, and I was flying first class. Luckily, my company, when you fly that long, they pay for first class. And so I get in the plane from Los Angeles to Memphis, and I sat down in first class. And who sat next to me, who came in, was the supermodel, Kathy Ireland. So I was like, okay, so I've been traveling for 20, 30 hours, whatever. I don't know what I smell like or look like. And I'm sitting next to a supermodel. Now, she's not the supermodel of 24 years old anymore. She's probably late 40s, but she's a supermodel nonetheless. And so she smiled. She was very nice. She was going to Memphis to the St. Jude the hospital to work with the children there, which was great, I thought. And I didn't talk to her that much. I really didn't want to. As I said, I didn't know how I looked, and I'd been traveling a long time, and I was like, it figures, my one chance at a supermodel, and I blew it. But anyway, that was interesting. I got to Memphis, and I said I had to go look in the mirror what I look like, and I didn't quite look as bad as I felt. But still, that was my experience of sitting next to someone who's somewhat famous on a plane. I would say definitely window. I tried aisle once because I said, well, if I want to go to the bathroom or walk around, whatever, an aisle's great. And I had these little kids next to me, and their mom was like behind me, and I swear it was 30 seconds, they were getting up. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. I said, I will never sit in an aisle again. I'm a window guy. My favorite airline company, it's a weird one because I'm gonna say Southwest. Southwest, it's not luxury. But they go where I want to go. From Orlando especially, and it's direct, and I don't have any hassle, and if I want to bring my golf clubs, I don't pay for them, and my brother is a captain for Southwest too, so I have to say that one. Love them both, but I love the beach. My wife and I are beach people. I love hanging out at the beach. To me, having like a pina colada or rum runner on the beach, there is nothing that I'd rather do more than that. I may live on the beach after retirement. We're beach people for sure. I'll tell you. I mean, I'm sure there are many beautiful beaches in the world. I've been, to Hawaii. And I love landing in Honolulu and going to the beach, Waikiki Beach, because it's like, you're in Waikiki Beach and you're in the middle of the ocean somewhere. And then I go to the Royal Hawaiian and go to the Mai Tai bar. So that's my tradition when I land in Honolulu. So sometimes the beautiful beach is not just the beach. I mean, Positano was a beautiful beach. I got to take the elevator, down through through this rock mountain to the beach there. They had the hotel, and that was beautiful. The water is pristine there, and the blue waters of the Bahamas were just incredible. But really, when I get down to it, I went to college in Miami at Florida International University, and my favorite time for my life, when I remember looking back, are the times we went to Key Biscayne, all my friends, and I'll never forget that as long as I live, and just spending the day at Key Biscayne Beach, and driving out. They have stilt houses out there if you've ever been there, and to me, in my mind, that's the most beautiful place, just because of the memories that I've had there. I mean, I saw some hotels in Dubai that I'd love to stay at on the water, and I do want to do that. So I would think someday I'm going to do that. I do love some of the old hotels in Paris as well. But one I've actually stayed at, and I mentioned it earlier, was the San Pietro in Positano. I want to go back there. The service is impeccable. I mean, that, being a hotelier, I know what service is. I know what it means to be on top of things, and they're just so good there. And they truly want you to be happy, and want you to have everything that you need, and create those memories that you want to go back. And really, that's to me, San Pietro or any hotel like that. I worked for Four Seasons in my past in New York City, and whenever a company or a hotel's trying to look at for their guest needs and really means it, really wants to provide great service, that's where I want to be. I'm not a real TV show guy. I'm more of a sportsman. So I do watch a lot of sports. I can't wait for Saturdays and Sundays during football season, because I am a football fan, and I do watch that quite a bit. I do record, however, because it's a business thing, and my friend is Anthony Melchiori, who is from Hotel Impossible. So I do watch Restaurant Impossible. We record those, and Hotel Impossible and Restaurant Impossible. So those are my two favorites during the pandemic for sure. Somebody I did meet, I met Tiger Woods, but I would like to meet him again, because it was just been passing. And I wanted, the only question I would ask of Tiger Woods would be, when did you know you were going to be great? I have a son who's a golfer, and he's in high school. He's going to probably play college golf, and it's a new level. And I would like to know from Tiger or Justin Thomas, one of those guys, at what age did they know they were going to be the number one golfer in the world, or number one in their sport? So that's what I would ask. I'm definitely a wine guy. I mean, in my younger years, I could say I was a beer guy. I can't drink beer now. I drink one beer and I'm full. So I can drink wine all night, however. So I will do that. And I prefer red over white, but I like to start with a glass of white and move into red. It depends on the night. I mean, I'm kind of, and you can ask anyone this. I will do surf and turf any day. So I want fish and meat. I am not going to settle. I will take both if I can. If I go to a restaurant with my wife, I order the steak, she orders the fish, so I can have both. So that's my answer to that question. My best meal ever, honestly, is my wife. We like to cook on weekends, on Saturdays primarily, and she makes. We looked up this restaurant or this recipe for coquille Saint-Jacques, and I love scallops, and we make this coquille Saint-Jacques. I mean, that is like, you go to a restaurant and you're like, oh, I wish we had ours here. It's just, we perfected it now to the point where it is so good, and we make it probably once every couple months. I'd like to make it more, but I don't want to get sick of it either. So actually, my favorite meal of all time.